Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. Today I'll be talking about the weather health risk for January 7, 2026. We do maintain additional graphics available at tpatw.com. We do have a shopping storefront on Amazon. Purchases made through our storefront on Amazon do support the activities of Patient Weather. Looking at the surface map for Wednesday the 7th, does look like high pressure dominates the vast majority of the country as the central portions and the eastern portions warm up. But you'll notice there is a new front once again pushing into the Pacific Northwest. Lots of moisture there along the coast and very much snow in the higher elevations, which mostly a lot of high elevations. And notice there is that low pressure starting to develop in the easternmost portions of the Four Corners. There is a cool front hanging really from, Amarillo to El Paso, and then a stationary to warm front stretching all the way across from Amarillo across the south to Atlanta. Interesting part there is there's a lot of moisture through the southwest. Looks like even some rain in the deserts. Maybe we'll see some desert flowers bloom. Looking at the vitality index, again, it points out that southwestern portions of the country is an area of interest and something going on there in central to west Texas. Another area, a large area of activity in the eastern lakes to the Ohio Valley, and there is that finally retreating storm front moving away from Maine. Looking at pressure change, something always of interest for those with headache and arthritis, and you'll see falling pressure there in the southwest, all the way from southern Nevada across the Four Corners, all of the Four Corners, into western Texas, western Oklahoma, western Kansas. Rising pressure across the easternmost lakes and the Ohio Valley from really Kentucky across to North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and then in the north from Michigan, Indiana, across to Pennsylvania into upstate New York. Pretty intense falling pressure still trying to pull away from Maine. Note the big temperature changes are already in play, and you can see there's still a little bit more temperature change going to happen across here in northern Minnesota, and it's showing that the warmer temperatures will finally be reaching even into the northern portions of New England. Dew point temperature change, again, rather interesting, and you can see that influx of moisture here in the southwest. Very interesting, deep influx of moisture across that, call it the Dallas portions of Texas. Looking at POI, which is our measure of that change in the oxygen in the atmosphere, we'll have that risk of migraine across the northern California coast, coastal Oregon and Washington and up into Vancouver, and then across northern Idaho and across Montana. Another risk of migraine here in southern aspects of Arizona. Large area of migraine risk here in the Missouri Boot Heel to Ohio Valley, all of these states, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, across the Carolinas, all the way up through Indiana, Ohio, into Pennsylvania, upstate New York, and hanging here a little bit about Maryland and Delaware. You'll note we have a risk of asthma and arthritis, mainly in the plains. The eastern Four Corners, call it New Mexico, Colorado, Texas. There's that area also of difficulties with the rising dew point, and up into Oklahoma, picking up again in Nebraska, eastern the Dakotas, very sharp across Minnesota and Iowa, and then jumps to the east where we're picking up that risk of asthma and arthritis, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Maine, and moving on into the easternmost provinces of Canada. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated. And if you hurt, won't you let us know where you're located?